We review it Wednesday.
Introducing your hosts.
I know there's been a lot of speculation of whether or not I am Matt Logan. And yes, I am Matt Logan.
I'm Tyler. Tyler Peterson.
Slugheads.
I will stab you.
What? What did I miss?
Hit you with my loot.
What did I miss?
You missed everything.
Oh, this was a sleeper for me.
You can go to the dungeons. I'll slay the dragons.
Yeah, you go right ahead.
There's no honor among Matt right now.
All right, so we started to kind of get into this off camera, and so we needed to get camera going. So just to let the audience catch up to what we were talking about, I didn't care for this.
Matt's an idiot.
Yes, everybody knows that. I mean, that's not new information. So, but it's on the edge, like, of going a little bit too far to make kind of fun of the characters. I said it's a crossover between like a Marvel and a Lord of the Rings. Mm-hmm. You know, some of those characters. I think
which would be a great crossover.
Well, if they did it on purpose.
Yeah. Actually, it'd be a terrible crossover.
It would be that would be like a Stab movie.
That's
making
true.
Fun of Scream.
Yeah.
Right. You know, stuff like that. How they do that, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Or like Scary Movie
breaking the
in
fourth
real
wall.
life.
Yep.
So they're riding on that edge with so much of it. Mm-hmm. They didn't go over, but they did ride that edge. And they did an okay job riding that edge. But I certainly didn't expect it to be that way.
What were you expecting?
I was expecting to be a little bit more serious.
Yeah.
With some funny.
Yeah, but it was more funny than serious.
But yeah, there was really and so that did catch me off guard. I did fall asleep. I got bored. Like I really got bored.
That's too bad.
Yeah,
I loved it. It was
so
much fun.
I think the writing is just lazy. It's just not. What can we make some new characters? You know,
what would be new characters to you in a film like this?
It wouldn't be a Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
That's my point. Like a whole new thing.
So but then it wouldn't be Dungeon. Like this movie was Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
Yeah.
But if they just made it in honor Among Thieves and got rid of the D&D and made some really good characters, you know what I mean? Like that's my point. Like they're like, oh, we're going to take this IP and we're just going to be lazy.
See, and I really enjoyed that Chris Pine, his character, he was the bard, which means, I mean, I don't do a ton of Dungeons and Dragons. I've never gone into, I'm very intrigued. I'm like, I think if someone offered to like say, hey, would you want to be a part of this? Like we're doing a campaign. Do you want to be involved? I would be all in.
I do this underground.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I can invite you, but not on here.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I'm excited. Go through the forest. You have to take 2 laps, a right, a left, a right. You got the warrior character. You got the. I mean, I really enjoyed that.
They had them all. I agree.
They knew what the characters were, and they fully went into it, and I appreciated that.
I don't agree with that. They knew who the characters were, but they didn't fully go into it. They made fun of it.
Yep.
You know, which is whatever. Some serious D&D people are really mad.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I've heard both. I mean,
and some are
divisive.
probably thinking, that's, right. You know, they're making fun of us,
right.
You know, type thing. But a lot of them, you know, a lot of things that I had read is like, we don't care much for that. I think most people were like me. Many people, maybe not most, but many people were like me, and they wanted it to be like not this big joke.
Okay.
You know.
I like the joke. I like comedies.
Right, but it wasn't really a comedy either.
I would classify as a comedy.
Yeah, they didn't sell it that way.
No, they did not. I think they did. I mean, they did the action, they did the seriousness, but there was a lot of times there was comedy, and it's Chris Pine.
No,
being a bard.
They acting wise, they did pretty well. Not great. I thought the beginning of the film was a super tacky thing.
I thought it was really funny. And then they went full circle. They double dipped. They went full in with that cheesy background story.
No, I'm talking about like the beginning of when this came on, and all the actors were sitting there.
Oh, right.
Did you see that?
Yeah,
and they
really
were saying
cheesy.
that we just played the heroes,
and
you're the real hero. And they were all reading. I mean, you could see him reading it off of a board, and it was so super disingenuous.
Yeah, it was.
And so that now saying that out loud and thinking that's probably what turned me off the most. I'm like, this is dumb.
Yeah, telling
the audience that they're the real heroes because they're sitting in there risking their lives.
I definitely spaced out during that part. I don't care when actors tell me, like, oh, we're so happy you're back. Like, they did the same thing with Tom Cruise was definitely more genuine when they did it before the last Top Gun movie. And they did it during another film, too, that I've watched. But I always spaced out during that part because I could care less. Because I know it's not going to be anything that I mean, I'm not, as an audience, like, oh, we appreciate you being here. Like, I don't care. I know. I always hate it when they do that. So I always space out and never pay attention. Except I did think it was silly that the Forge character was in there saying, oh, we play heroes. He was never a hero.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah.
And I was pissed off about that.
Yeah.
But other than that,
so I think that's probably really where it set. Yeah, it did totally. Yeah. So, but I don't know. That's kind of a little bit of my shtick on it.
I loved it. I really
the audiences didn't love it. It hasn't even made its money. It hasn't broke even.
Well, as soon as I saw it was a $150 million budget for a film like this, this should have been like a $30 million budget if they wanted to succeed. 30.
I wonder
35.
if they, this budget probably. How many millions did they put into advertising? Because they advertised this like crazy.
I remember, for whatever reason,
20
thought
million?
It came out 3 weeks ago, or 3 weeks before it released. Because one of my coworkers was like, "Hey, do you want to go see the Dungeons and Dragons movie?" Because we thought it was coming out that weekend. I was like, "Okay, that's fine." And then it was like, "Oh no, it's not. It's for another 3 weeks." But yeah, there was a ton of advertisement really early. It was too early.
Oh, and they blasted it everywhere.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, I've seen them around the country on billboards and all kinds of different things. So they've done a ton of advertising. So I don't know, 20 million maybe more.
Yeah. Right.
So there's part of that budget, but and they do include that in when they do these budgets, but.
And I think the hard part is you talked about how let's just remove the Dungeons and Dragons and make it into like Honor Among Thieves, which would work as a title. I think they would have been able to appeal that to a wider audience than what the Dungeons and Dragons. Like for better or for worse, if you're gonna have a Dungeons and Dragons, you're gonna get pigeonholed because it has connotations, whether they're right stereotypes or not. It's going to get pigeonholed of like, oh, I'm not going to go to a Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
This might pick up steam, outside of the box office and stuff.
I could see it being a cult classic.
Yeah.
Give it 10 years and looking back on it, I think people are going to enjoy it.
There's a few things that I want to talk about in cinematography that were a big detriment to the film, too. Some positive things as well.
I like the cinematography.
You did?
Yeah, I loved all the different places they went to.
Wow, we are just way off.
Yeah. The volcano background. The castle was a little cheesy.
It was so terribly bad the way it looked on screen. It looked like it was all blurred out, a lot of it. Yeah. It was horrible.
Nope.
Tyler's sitting here plugging his ears. La 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 la.
Disagree.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
What screen did you see it on?
I saw it on the DLX. And
IMAX. Best screen that you can have.
I don't like them. The IMAX screen is sometimes too big for me.
The sound was great too.
See, I even like the sound in the DLX better. Maybe it's the same thing. Maybe it's just I have a lot of biases in life, And so my bias is I'm right, you're wrong. But I really like the Dolby. Do they do the Dolby Atmos too in the IMAX, or do they use something else?
I don't know if it's the Atmos. I can't remember, but yeah, it's one of them.
I really like the Atmos because when we watched Super Mario, again, I didn't know what theater I was going into. It happened to be the same type of DLX. I was like, oh gosh, these are the theaters I love.
Yeah.
Where it's not an absolutely huge screen. It's a little bit smaller, so I can still see everything, and then we still get the nice sound. Like, that's my dream. And heated seating. Oh, that's just,
Yeah.
let's package it all together.
That is nice. No doubt about that.
Got to keep that tush warm.
That's right. Actors.
Chris Pine. Michelle Rodriguez.
Did you pine over Chris?
I did. I loved him. He was great. So
he's got his charisma is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, I say phenomenal. I like the phenomenal word a lot. Phenomenal.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal how much you use it.
And but he's just, his charisma is
Can cheer the pants off of a rock.
I don't know if we can say that on YouTube. I'm just kidding.
Rocks.
Yeah,
we're gonna have a rock revolt. What did they say about the rocks?
I know, right?
Dwayne the Rock Johnson. These fools, they don't know.
So anyway, Michelle Rodriguez. This was for her, fairly typical.
I always remember. Like, I only know her from the Fast and Furious.
Yeah, but she's a BA chick in that.
Yeah,
wasn't this? She's
eating her potatoes.
Yeah, I mean, she's the hero. Hugh Grant. I don't know what he's doing anymore, but he's been showing up a little bit here and there.
I didn't like him in this movie.
No, I don't really care
for him. He was the one character I liked the least.
Yeah. But it was, they did a neat thing with this, some of these people and bringing the characters together, and looked like they were having a good time.
Yeah,
didn't
definitely
look like,
did.
Yeah, it didn't look like it was anything like they hated each other type.
I really liked the relationship between Holga and Edgen, so Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez's character. That was really fun to see how they interacted.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Chris, spoiler, because not that anyone's actually going to watch this film apparently, but Chris Pine's mom died, or not. Apparently I didn't even watch it well. Chris Pine's wife dies in the movie, and then that's how like the relationships blossoms between him and Holga's character of taking care for the child they had. But I always like it. You gotta have those friendships. I always like it when friendship between a man and a woman that's authentic, like they're brothers and sisters, but not by blood, but by friendship and molding through that. I thought it's hard to write that and do it well, and I thought they did.
I agree. I totally agree with that. There's a lot they did right.
Yeah. Let's keep it. You're on the train.
Plenty that didn't
Whoop whoop.
didn't go right in my book, but
Nope. Derailed. We're off.
Yeah. Exactly. But I did. They had fun, right? Like you could see that they were having fun filming this. In my opinion,
there's so many individual moments that I just enjoyed.
Yeah, totally. So I actually did give it a 4.0.
Okay.
So
I gave it a 4.3. I didn't like Ford's character, but like again, there was a lot of characters in this film, and they had to develop the backstory, develop the motives. Why are they working together? Where is the honor among thieves? Like, what does that even mean? And so they kind of developed that of like, again, they're thieves, but really they bond together. I mean, it wasn't fully Robin Hood. Like, it was more of a negative Robin. Like, they didn't care about that. But again, they had the bond together, and it was cool to see that continue.
Yeah.
Let's go down the orifice. The brains of like, they seek out intelligence, and if they find you, if they seek any intelligence, they'll attack you.
Right.
And they just walked right on by.
Exactly.
I like that
that was funny.
The outside of the main, like, so as a Dungeons and Dragons, you have people as like NPCs, like non-player, like if you're not in the main story, nobody really cares about you because you're just like a bystander. And I think they did that well in some aspects of making fun of it because they were. What was the scene where they were interacting with the girl and it was very obvious it was like super, super cheesy with her response of like, welcome to the tavern. Like, I forget what it was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I forget what it was.
I remember. Yep.
Yep.
Can't remember.
I can't remember
where it was at, but I remember that. Yeah.
Bradley Cooper. Don't you remember him when that was Holga's love interest?
Oh yeah. Right.
That was
I'm
super
like, what do you
fun.
mean? Are we talking about a different movie? Yes, that was fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there was this film. I definitely I couldn't tell you what the overall story was, but like I liked seeing the interaction with like Bradley Cooper's character. They want a quest to get the helmet. They had to do the investigation scene where they brought people back to life, and you only had a certain amount of questions. And so there's so many small things that I enjoyed, and so maybe part of the reason I enjoyed it was because I didn't look necessarily as a movie as a whole, but I enjoyed each moment within it.
Yeah.
And maybe it didn't. I could see where it didn't necessarily connect all together, but again, if you just stay focused on like this scene, it was a lot of fun.
And that's why I think it probably will grow on me. You know, I'll see it once it comes out or streams or something, and we'll see. But yeah, there definitely those individual moments. All right, cinematography. One thing I did like is there was a lot of things that you could tell that were not green screen, and that was great because everything is green screen now.
Yep.
And that I don't like it. You can because it's just not that good.
Yeah.
It's okay,
Right.
but it's like
Nothing
that's
like the
obvious.
real deal.
No.
Yeah.
But they did have to add in a lot of stuff, fringe things.
Yep.
You know, post.
It's a fantasy.
Yeah,
Yep.
and so they're having to do all that, and so there was a lot of things that were just very blurry in comparison to what was really being filmed. You could see that added in, not only characters but even buildings and landscape.
The one place I didn't like was the end castle or whatever where the daughter was being held.
Yeah.
Whenever you saw like a hanging shot or the outside shot of that, it definitely looked pretty fake.
Yeah.
I liked everything else.
So that's, one of the things that really turned me off was that was throughout the film. And I just can't imagine that it would be any different on another screen.
It would be if it's smaller because you can't see those details as much.
Yeah, smaller for sure, but a theater screen,
Right.
I just don't know.
Yeah.
It probably wouldn't make
You
that
went too big.
possibly.
Except it always says made for the IMAX, so that's not a real.
Yeah, so I don't know. It was just I didn't like it. I just don't think that some of those things were smooth.
See, I liked all the different places they went to. I liked they walked past it. I remember there was one where there was a volcano in the background. I thought that looked really cool. I liked the different places they went to when they went down the orifice. I liked the trees. I liked the hole and everything. And then they went to a different dimension or whatever. I don't know exactly what it was, but it felt very different. I don't know. There's a lot of different places, and I enjoyed seeing each place it brought me. Was it I don't know. Maybe it wasn't designed the best, but I enjoy that they went to different places because it felt like a campaign.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, I just don't think they made it look real good.
I give it a 4-2.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a 3. I'll watch it on a small screen and we'll see. But
That's right.
I just was not impressed.
Yeah.
And I was really turned off right away. And
Yeah, you were.
I really know that.
Yeah.
But that's super important. I mean,
Yeah,
first impressions.
it's
super, super important. And then that panel of the actors sitting there doing that thing.
See, you gotta learn to space out during those points. Never are they going to do a thing that's going to make you feel better about the movie.
Yeah, no, that's so true. But they shouldn't do it at all then.
Well, I agree. But if they do it, you got to space out. Space out hard, man.
I guess.
I loved it.
I fell asleep. I got bored. I mean, I really did. I really got bored.
See, there was no part where I was like, I'm bored. They went from one thing to another pretty quick.
I didn't sleep like for the whole second half.
No, just during the middle section.
Probably for the whole second 2/3 of it. No.
That's so hard. That hurts.
It
hurts me on the inside.
No, I didn't.
I feel like I've been stabbed.
I know. I slept probably for a quarter of it.
See, you know what you could have done? Slept during the introduction.
I should have.
You would have been super appeased. I don't know. There was a lot. I liked the characters. I really did like Chris Pine's character. I like that he was the main one focused. I think
he knows he's a good actor.
Yeah. And I connect with his character. So, fun fact. And again, I've never done Dungeons and Dragons. I, again, am really intrigued. So if anyone's watching and does an online league and you need somebody that has no clue what he's doing, I am more than willing to join. But each of the characters within Dungeons and Dragons, like Myers-Briggs.
Yeah. We've
personality
talked about
test. Yeah. And so they've broken down each of the different classes. What class would you be based off of your personality test? And for me, I would be the bard. And so I thought it was really funny. So when I was watching this film, again, one of my coworkers and I talk about it all the time about personality tests and stuff like that. And so I could definitely see myself in his character of I don't know really what I'm doing, but I'm going to BS it, and people are going to believe me for whatever the heck reason, and we're going to go from there. And then when he talked about we had Plan A, we had Plan B, and they were like, isn't Plan C the same thing as Plan A, but it's just it was slightly different? Oh yeah, but we're going to call it Plan C because Plan A failed. I could definitely see myself doing that, and so I really connected with that character of I could see myself doing that, and so. Again, maybe that's where I found some more enjoyment of it. It was because I could personally relate. Granted, I don't play the lutes because people lose their hearing very quickly hearing me sing. But I don't know. It was a lot of fun. Him beating with the lute. The scene where he and Holga, when they were coming down the stairs and making the escape from the tower, and Holga they were about to get beheaded.
Yeah.
And I remember Holga had the plan and figured it out and was slowly stalling to make sure what is that made out of? Do you use this to...
Yeah, the axe.
Yeah, the axe.
Yeah.
And sure enough, she bought enough time, beat the guy up. Meanwhile, Chris Pine's character is still trying to get out of the rope of oh, you're doing great.
Cheering her on.
Came in at the last minute, hit him with the lute. And
I don't know. I'm not gonna say what I was thinking.
See, and then I was looking at some reviews and stuff like that. And again, I didn't look down the D&D route because I don't have that. I didn't look at that community. But there was one theory too of it simulates kind of the roll of the dice where Holga is skilled in combat and war and getting out of things. So her chances to get out would be a lot higher than what Chris Pine's character was, who is not good at combat. He's good at BSing and talking his way out of things.
Sure.
And so I thought that was an interesting perspective of it as well.
Yeah, no, it was interesting. But overall entertainment for me, falling asleep like that, I just was not entertained. It's a 2.8.
I loved it. I'm going to watch it again. I want to enjoy it again.
I'll watch it again, and it might grow on me. I mean, there's been films. We talked about John Wick. I came into John Wick 20 minutes into the film, and I'm like, this is the dumbest film.
Just dying.
Shooting, killing, stabbing, all that stuff. That's all it was. But then I watched it from the beginning, and I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
see, and now when you watch it again, You won't have to watch the stupid intro scene of the actor saying, "So thankful for you're here."
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Just show me the film.
Right. You're already getting paid. Shut up.
And we're already in the theater. Like,
Right.
You don't have to suck me in more because I don't care.
Exactly.
I don't know why they do. In what realm do they think that's a good idea?
I have no idea. I agree 100%. It
Yeah.
is really a bizarre thing. It's really like
Because they did it.
I don't want to get into it because it's one of those things like it's opinion, but it seems like it's almost demeaning to the audience, you know. And
Right.
so I don't
know I'm better than you, but we're happy we're here. Because so Incredibles 2 made sense because they did that because it was like 10 years since it came out, so it was like fan appreciate. Like we're so happy that we were able to come back, and so like
it wasn't like 16 years.
Yeah, it was
or
a long
something.
time.
Yeah.
Top Gun was kind of a similar thing of like.
Well, yeah, that kept getting pushed
Right,
back.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so maybe if they phrase in a way of like, we're so happy that we're able to come back together and create this, and I hope you enjoy what we created, versus like, oh, we're so thankful for you being here as an audience member to watch this film that I'm getting paid a lot of money to do.
Yeah, you're the hero.
You are the hero. Except apparently not, because they're not making their budget back.
No. And so, email me.
Yeah, only
Tell
him.
me
How
tell me
wrong
I'm
he
right.
is.
Tell me I'm right.
Nope. LegitQ would be, how wrong is he? Which you can send to LegitQ at MattyMovieMix.com.
I like it.
I like this movie. See ya!
Hammer the share button. Go ahead and hammer out a comment to us. Go ahead and hammer the like button. Go ahead and hammer the subscription button. Go ahead and hammer the notification bells, because you know what? That's the best way you can support us. We appreciate it.
Stop listening to Podcast Topless. We're Shiny Brand products that are so comfortable you'll think you're topless. Check out shinybrandproducts.com.